I know people can say, you are staying up there too long, but we're waiting for our guests. We thank God that our guests are here. We really were looking forward. We are not going to say so much, just want to do a quick round of introduction. We have a team from the Ministry of Education, led by the Director, Field Coordination and Co-curricular Activities, and the whole entire team here. Which is hosted by the County of the County Education Office of Mombasa, and we are going to do those introductions. But for now, I want us quickly to tell who is here, and we may not say our names, all of us, but I want to say, Director, as you are now afraid that you know us, this is a mixture in terms of Christian denominations. All across board, we have Catholics here. We have, yesterday we saw, we have all of them, Catholic, Anglican, Presbyterians, AIC, Seventh-day Adventists, Salvation Army, Church of God in East Africa, Pentecostals, we across board. And we have people from all the regions. We have many from Nyanza. Nyanza people, you can just wave. Yes, thank you. We have Western, you can also wave. We come to Rift Valley, please wave. To the Lakini of course is the biggest region. Okay, we come to Nairobi. Nairobi anakuwa very busy. Sio wengi sana. Huko economic activities iko juu. Okay, tunaenda Central sasa tupande mlima. Central ndio hao tuelekee sasa chini kidogo na hapo Eastern region. These are the regions we have in this our association. Then tuteremke tukuja Coast si wengi sana lakini tuko. The director challenges us that we need to have an association that is interfaith, interreligious, and when we get that one, now more people, because we don't have a lot of people from Northeastern and we don't have many people from Coast. So maybe when we get that, and we are heading there, we shall be having in that conference that will be interreligious, we shall have more people. So any region I skipped, just in case I forgot. Northeastern, I said yesterday we found we don't have a representative from Northeastern, but somehow probably you are here. Northeastern? Yes, still even now we don't have. That's the only county not represented, and not county but region. Once again, we want to thank you very, very much, our visitors, for coming. We were from morning looking forward to this moment, because many people seated here are doing their ministry in schools and education institutions. And we are in one agenda of forming our generation through education. Our participation in school is to make goals of education more achievable. Because when we have values in schools, children who are well guided, we are going to have better results in terms of achieving our educational goals. We know there are challenges that are religious in nature, especially in the current context, where we find there are a bit of extremes in terms of how faith is expressed. But we come together as chaplains so that we are able to be moderated and we are able to offer that which adds value, and also to be able to check against that which does not add value. So our coming together is not only capacity building ourselves, but helping our participation in making education agenda in the country a success. With those few or many remarks, I will not want to give further speeches on our side, but I want our chairman to just stand and wave to us. That's our chairman, and we are proud of him. Thank you very much, Chair. With his permission now, I want to now hand over our program to our guests. We are going to invite the representative of the County Education Office, Madam Mary, to come, and from there invite our guests to make their remarks and also to bring the greetings of the entire ministry. Let's put our together for Madam as she comes.
Our director, our RD, our senior officers in the ministry, the chaplain present, pastors and teachers, good morning. My name is Mary Kanyoro, representing the County Director of Education, Mombasa. So basically I'm here as the host CD to welcome you to Mombasa. However, I want to identify with you because I also work with a school system. And we are at a time where, there are emerging issues that we are dealing with that we did have to deal with some years back concerning the young generation. And that is your calling. I would say that that is a calling to work with young people. So there is the willingness on your part. You are here because you are willing. And then there is also the equipping. Because whenever God has called us for a task, He also equips us. And when you are here, you are also learning from each other. And as a ministry, the ministry has invested in making sure that you are equipped for that task. I think mine is to ask each of us that whatever we are investing in eternity, these children, let it be based on sound biblical principles and guidelines. I think that's my appeal, nothing else. Biblical principles. Because our situations may change, contemporary issues that are interpreting matters of religion, but even though our situations may change due to our own interpretation, God never changed. His principles never change. Whether we are Christians or Islam, the principles never change. And I look at what we are dealing with in school, lesbian sin and gay sin, and not just in school, but in the community. I'm saying this from a point of experience, being a parent of adults. And you listen and hear how they are trying to justify being gay or being transgender. And you are like, there's a reason God created you female, and there's a reason God created you a male. And that's non-negotiable, because you are created that way, you are equipped for that. So unless now we go back to capture these children, these teenagers at that age, where we undo the damage. And the damage is much. The damage is much. And the internet is a blessing and also a curse. Because when you find a child, a 9-year-old, it's like they are through the curriculum of sex. And you're like, goodness. They have seen it all. And you know very well that they cannot handle this information. So we go back to teaching them morality. And then again, these children are coming from broken homes and broken situations that they are going through. As teachers, there are those that will come to you willingly. There are those that you have to identify yourselves that they are going through stuff. Now, you can only give what you have. So as pastors and counselors, you also have to take care of your emotional needs. You can't draw water from an empty well. Neither can you draw water if your well is bitter, a bitter well. Because bitterness, you'll only give that bitterness. What am I saying? Take care of your needs. Seek counseling where you need to seek counseling, so that you can be in a better position to meet the emotional needs of these children. And I want to give, before I end, a personal experience in 2007, I was the Dean of Students in Moranga Teachers. I had not yet crossed over to the ministry. And it was a very difficult time. You all remember what happened. And when the students came back, when the school calendar resumed, we had students with a lot of issues, trauma, and bitterness. Remember, in a college, you have students from all over, and there was also hostility. Now, as the Dean of Students, it was also my role to give guidance and counseling. It so happened that it was also a time that I was going through protracted personal pain. And I was like, I'm already paining. I'm already going through this struggle. I felt like I had nothing to give. But I realized there is a Japanese principle that whenever you are in a problem, look for somebody who is in a worse situation and offer your heart to that person. Help to lift up that person. Because there will always be people who are worse off than you. And I decided to give myself to those students. And let me tell you, it is through my giving, listening, that God healed me. How He did it, I do not know. What am I saying? Even when you go through personal situation and pain, never stop giving. I want to end there and invite the RD to make his remarks. Welcome.
Our director, field coordination and co-curricular activities, other ministry officials, board of management members of this association, members, good morning. My name is Joshua Kaga from Nakuru, but I work in Lamu as the county director. For this forum, I was requested to attend and represent the regional director, Mr. Lucas Chebet, who was not able to be here today. Mine is just to say that we have a lot of interest in what the chaplains are doing, especially when it comes to managing the spirit and moral growth of our learners. So we really support the activities our director Duale is doing with you, to come up with some guidelines that are going to allow us to have formal engagement with you and to ensure that all our schools at least have chaplains, or that we have somebody who can be able to guide them. Because the society, the way it is too open, and unless we are able to create systems that are going to enable us to guide our learners, the system will be very bad. So we are really interested in those guidelines, and once you are engaged, I'm sure you will do your best to ensure that we have a well-rounded modern society. In those few remarks, I wish to invite our director from the next quarter to come and officially open the workshop. Welcome, everybody. So we have a coffee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much, colleagues, the national chairman, the organizing secretary, all the officials from the various regions, the participants who are here today, the chaplains from across the faith, all other invited guests, and my colleagues from the ministry, the desk, the Office of Coordinates, Chaplaincy Services, Mr. Dorcas Baka, the representative of the RDE, representative of the CKE, without forgetting anyone. Good morning. Good morning. I hope it's still morning, yes. allow me kindly, when you are sent to represent the PS, when you make off-cut remarks, it can land you in problems. Because that is not the position of the person I represent. Of course, we might not fail to say a few things off after I finish this speech. So allow me to read the PS speech. First, I want to bring you the greetings from our CS and our PS and the Director General, who would have loved to be here. But because of some urgent engagement, they were not able to join us. But they have sent me with their greetings and message. I know for me it's a familiar ground. I was here with you last year. As long as I will be in the ministry, I will still be with you. That's a promise. So I take this opportunity to appreciate the leadership of the National Association of Christian Chaplains for their commitment towards promoting the spiritual well-being of Kenyans, more especially the Kenyan child in the learning institution. I feel humbled to be invited to this important occasion, the 13th Annual Chaplains Conference, whose theme is Youth and Mental Health in Digital World. The theme are really well thought and are very current. And I want to thank the organizers for your effort of bringing together teachers and chaplains in the spiritual well-being of our students in all the learning institutions. Spiritual well-being is a major component in holistic development of the entire school community. Research has revealed that individuals who are spiritually stable navigate life challenges more better than those who are not spiritually grounded. Ladies and gentlemen, the ministry has developed, is in the final stage of developing the chaplaincy guidelines. Where it has reached now, we have done all the stakeholders input. I think from the ground, we are not going back to the ground. There is one important exercise, and that is at a high level. The PS and the CS will take through the document the most senior of all the faith-based institutions in our country for their input, because they have sent their representatives in all the regional engagements. Where we have now reached is beyond us. And it's a better document than how it was last year. I'm sorry to come back to the same venue to say we are finalizing. This one is the final, I promise you. This one, I have no luxury. This one, I have no luxury. Because the last meeting, Dorcas knows what we were taken through. And even how we have done the regional workshops was fairly better than last year. So it is in the final, because where it is senior management will be looking at this document and approving for printing. That's where it has reached. But again, aside, before they allow the printing, the bishops and the senior-most members of the clergy will look at the document. So that's the session coordinated by the cabinet secretary and also the respected leaders. So I have no control over that level. So once it is from the end, the senior management is always a level coordinated by the Director General. We have a planned activity, either Nakuru or Naivasha, probably next week, and that will be the end. It is published. Even the partner to identify, we have identified the partner to print. So this one, it should not bother you anymore. I can repeat that comfortably. The ministry is finalizing the guidelines that will streamline and coordinate the work of chaplains across religious belief in instilling acceptable morals to our learners in the country. This means that chaplains will work hand in hand with the school administrators in bringing up a morally upright learners who will be responsible, respectful, and who has positive values for the future generation. I wish to start by acknowledging that ICT is a rapidly expanding sector globally. In terms of broadband connectivity, the general ICT infrastructure, the mobile, related activities, the mobile money, the mobile banking, the technologies associated with ICT. Our country, Kenya, is blessed in the region and is the hub for all this in East Africa. Through ICT-enabled services, the country ICT sector is projected to contribute 7% of the GDP. Internet access has persisted in fostering economic growth, supporting the objectives of digital economy blueprint of the government, a plan created to increase the capacity to outpace regional economic growth. ICT has played a key role in supporting the Kenya's education sector and has been a crucial enabler in realizing the country's Vision 2030. ICT in education enhances student engagement, student retention of information. The students are more engaged in their work when ICT is incorporated in teaching and learning. This is due to the fact that technology offers a variety of opportunities to make education more meaningful because it diversifies the methodology. However, ICT comes with its challenges. To ensure that every student is ready for today's digital world, the government has adopted the Digital Literacy Program, commonly known as the Digi School. Primary schools are taught how to study well using the digital tools and communication. Another extensive national strategy for providing internet connectivity to the country, secondary schools and post-secondary schools, is the Education Broadband Connectivity Initiative. There will be a preference to secondary schools that already provide computer studies program, which will be tested at the end of the student learning period. The adoption of ICT in an institution was really tested during the COVID period. You remember during the COVID when schools were closed, schools had varied the way they reached the students. In Nairobi and the cities where connectivity was not a challenge, teachers were conducting activities across using the digital platform. Some schools had even gone ahead. Teachers are very creative team. Many a times, in my responsibilities as a director field, sometimes I will ask the field officers, why do you permit the schools to do a lot of activities traveling? If you go now to Mombasa, drama is over, but school buses are here. Go anywhere, you find school buses. Our teachers will love to move, to go and see, of course, the beaches. Of course, there are no other beaches in the country, so they come. Of course, here in Kisumu, there's a national park. If you are near, there's a park. If anywhere in the country, we have a park. Now teachers will come here when they have Masai Mara. Of all places. So teachers from Narek will say, we'll go and see Hala Park. And come and see animals caged when they are really moving in the areas. But we will not stop that, as long as it is educative. But our teachers are innovative. When COVID limited, they say we are organizing virtual trips. You have seen the virtual trips? Students were paying, yet they will be taken through a controlled environment. Where in Mombasa? They will be taken through Mombasa and other places. And trips. So trips didn't even stop during COVID. So that is the innovation of our teachers. And the real value of ICT was appreciated during the COVID period. And that is the time when Kenyans have now learned that you can do an activity, even reach more, through an online platform. For example, when I want to have a meeting with the sub-county directors, for me it was not easy. There are 400 of them. When I call 400 sub-county directors for a meeting, drop just a virtual platform and you have reached all of them. And the county directors and the regional directors. So ICT has made things easier for us. So during this time when we had COVID, the real value of ICT was appreciated. Online lessons, teaching, online assignment, online assessments were all conducted. Internet connectivities, the gadgets such as the laptop, the smartphones, and many other become indispensable. ICT engineering, not only ICT is engineering not only our economy, but also our very society, influencing everybody's thought, behavior, beliefs, in a way that has never been imagined. ICT, therefore, supports behaviors, appreciate the social behavior in a very many fora. However, the adoption of ICT, which is now part and parcel of our lives, must also take the cognizance of the fact that there are dangers associated with ICT. We have seen people joining religious cults, dangerous groups, because of the influence of ICT. The morals of our learners can easily be corrupted if they are not allowed, if they are left to be unrestricted. You know, the online materials need to be restricted. But if you allow them for the children to access irrespective of the age setup, then we will really destroy the whole fabric of society. So instead of being an enabler, it becomes now the problem in our society. I think if you see what happens in a modern household today, colleagues, if our parents and grandfathers and visit us today in a modern setup, they will not go immediately with us. Because they will find a house where the father is glued to the phone, the mother the same, the kids don't want anybody to talk to them. They are all in the sitting room, but each one is busy with something. Then you leave your mother and your father wondering what kind of society she has raised. So that is the nature of our society today. I have seen people who have gone ahead. I know of a neighbor of mine who lives abroad, whose son is my neighbor child. And the child, of course, a child born outside this country, brought up in a unique, European setup. But the child has a smartphone. A smartphone controlled by the father who lives in Finland. The phone is programmed such a way that in terms of content it is restricted, in terms of the hour of access is restricted. So the kid has 1 hour to use the phone and it disables. Whatever he wants to do with it, he can't. So he says, my hour gone. Sorry, can't do anything about it. Wake up early. So unless you control the internet, then you will lose the society. So let's be very proactive in how to control. We can't limit them from the use of the internet. The internet is not all bad. Let's teach them what is good and what is bad. And that's the moral of a society. That's what religious principles are. Preach what is good. Tell them what is bad. Let them make the choice. I can't beat you for doing the wrong things, you're adults. But I have to tell you, I have a reason, a responsibility to pass the message. One of the roles of chaplains in an institution of learning is to guide learners to avoid dangerous and negative sites that can corrupt their morals. They will guide the learners to use ICT positively, to do research, to gain new knowledge, to gain new skills, and to gain positive values. Colleagues, on the status of mental health in the country. It's one area, if we are not keen, talking about mental distress, talking about the suicidal behavior, depression levels. I don't know whether you have heard of this incident in Uganda yesterday, where the bodyguard shot dead the minister. And you know what he was saying? How comes that I am the bodyguard to a minister but lives a poor life? That was his statement. How can I be guarding a minister and yet I am poor? Those are suicidal thoughts. Those are somebody in distress, so nobody is safe. What can you explain the father who wakes up and kills all the family? And you know, some of these people with suicidal thoughts, they finish the target and finally finish it themselves. So you have no one to blame. So if you look at recent statistics on the inpatient and outpatient, inpatient and outpatient statistics of our hospitals, 25% of them are related to mental health. So you can't ignore the topic that we must discuss. And how do you identify a child in distress? How do you identify a teacher in distress? Of course, chaplaincy does not end with the child. It's beyond, it is a society issue, it's the community. So let's go beyond the school setup to help the entire society in ensuring that mental health education, and the safe use of internet is propagated. I wish that you will model, you will be good role models for the learners, so that they emulate your spiritual uprightness, your good conduct, and help them to make sober, independent decisions towards all their well-being. Because when we talk about the growth of a child, we're talking about also the growth of a child. I remember in another forum, I think Dorcas can remember, many times they say, you may have a child who is academically gifted, but also one who's morally, is decayed, morally bad. Although, for me, my doctrine is different. You can't be academically gifted and morally bad, because you require discipline to keep you to the standard expected from you. Even listening to the teacher, taking your assignments, the revisions on your own, unless you are self-disciplined, you can't be controlled. So we want to raise an all-round person and giving back to the society. I normally say in my other areas when I talk to colleagues about morality, yes, we make mistakes even in the road. And sometimes some of these mistakes are not deliberate. But the society likes fault finding. When auditors come to look at your file, they look for what are there. What are these things that you fail to touch? That is the basis of the audit query. It could be available somewhere, and that's why sometimes you receive a response from you before it is finalized, so that you give your view the same. Policeman will find you on one wrong side. But again, You look at it again, the advantage will be made from another side is that you will even wonder why you made that mistake. Let us be punitive in terms of the mistake, but at least as much as possible, let's be correcting positively. Let's be correcting positively. Before you expel a child, what are the redress mechanisms that are provided? Counseling services, dealing with the parents, of course, even taking over that child and see how, is it the environment that is influencing this, because a child will go home to a broken family. So what is it? So sometimes we must do beyond the ordinary. In conclusion, colleagues, once again I appreciate the organizers of this very important conference, which is aimed to further the skills of our chaplains in molding the character of the learners and becoming a morally upright good citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my humble duty to declare that the 10th National Association of Christian Chaplaincy, the year 2023, officially opened. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Once again, let's applaud the director. I think we should look for a title of people who really support, and maybe call them associate member, associate visit. I don't know what to do. Maybe we should look at that. But director has become like part of us.
Yes.
If he was going to worship on Sunday, we would have just made him a chaplain and become a member. But of course, he's more than we appreciate your support and thank you very, very much. He has really guided us on very important issues about chaplaincy and especially the challenges that our young people are going through, and also bringing together, integrating the ICT. ICT, he says, is both a blessing and a curse.